Hi everyone, it's Rax. I've been blasting the new Last Epoch season. I have 3 characters. I have an endgame Lich, I have an endgame Beastmaster, I have an endgame Rogue. And I wanted to put together some thoughts on some things that EHG I think has done well, and some things, of course, that can be improved upon. First thing I want to do is thank all the people in my stream that helped me think of ideas. We literally sat around and talked about it for about 2 straight hours. And honestly, all the people that have just been watching over the weekend or gifted subs for the cosmetic or whatever, the generosity was insane from you guys. So really appreciate you. Thank you for all that. All right, let's get into it. And like always, let's start with the good stuff. I thought Act 10 was absolutely beautiful. I mean, from the visuals and the dinosaurs and the different biomes and the sky level and the bosses. I mean, it just looked, honestly, it looked way better than the rest of the game. So looks like they're kind of showing off what they can do with their engine, with their I guess their new tools or whatever after they migrated. I guess Act 10 being made last gave it all the best graphics. So I'm very interested to see the new stuff that they're going to be creating with that, because it looks like the future of Last Epoch is going to look a lot better. The balance has certainly improved. It's not perfectly balanced, and there's, of course, tons of imbalanced stuff still in the game. But I do think this is closer. Like last time, Judgment was like 100 times better than everything, and now it's like 5 times better than everything. It's kind of a joke, but the balance is getting better. I see you over there making it better. The improved visuals, not just in Act 10, but in other places. Like when you fight Lagon, the little water waves that used to attack you, they used to just be like solid white, and that was supposed to be water. But now it's like this beautiful crystal clear blue. I mean, stuff like that, you notice it. And like the rune art looks way better. It's in a lot of different places in the game. I noticed a lot of things you guys have been working on. We made the loop filter a lot better. The sounds are there, the beams are there, there's new functionality. All of that is great. I'm going to ask for more stuff, though, later. Be careful. Minion targeting is improved, but it's definitely not perfect. It does have the 2 different modes. I think that is better. I played a lot of minions this season. I played Beastmaster and I played the frogs with the bear. There are different uses for each mode, so I would say this is better. People have had different opinions on the league mechanic. The number one complaint that I've heard from the league mechanic is that it's a little bit boring, or it's like the previous league mechanic, and I understand where they're coming from. If you want my opinion, I actually kind of like it. I like how quick it is. You summon a beast and you fight it, or you go into the beast's lair and then you fight the beast. I like how it's very straightforward. And I also like how you can see the vendor, you can kind of look for some kind of goal items that you're progressing toward. And you're like, okay, I need this many fangs, I need this many bones, and kind of like customize your rewards to get there. And then even when you go beyond that and you don't need the items anymore, then you can buy all the different goodie bags. This is not even close to the worst league mechanic I've seen. I thought it was pretty fun. And I thought you did a nice job with the new items, like opening up new builds, like playing frogs, which has been a build I've been really liking. Thought the evolving process, although maybe it's a little bit too simple, was a nice touch. The T8 items are the whole different tier. Pretty good idea. Overall, is this the most exciting, best league mechanic I've ever seen? No. But it's not bad. It's better than some of the other stuff we've seen. You added new maps to the monoliths. That definitely helps with the monotony. That's good. I like how the old league mechanics have moved forward into the core game. The woven echoes are still there. They're still important this time around. I like that. Expanding the game after each season. Smart. Temporal keystones. The way that you add stability in the monoliths. Used to be able to do that with Glyphs of Envy. It was like a very strange way. Like it's like almost like a secret. But now there's literally just a button just to add stability in the top right. I think that's way better. Changes like that, like quality of life changes, that's nice. And I definitely feel like you guys have made the game harder. I think you guys heard last time, a lot of people were saying that the game was too easy. The game definitely gets harder in the monoliths. And I think that the increased difficulty is overall a good thing, although I think there are some problems with it. which we're going to get into. Now let's talk about some of the things that need improvement. And again, EHG, they're so good at listening to the community, They're very in tune with their player base. This is not me sitting here just criticizing and saying, EHG, you suck. Nothing like that. These are just some ideas for you to think about. Nothing more. So let's keep going with this increased game difficulty thing. One thing that I found this league a lot more than in the other leagues, like a lot more, is some attacks just seem to be hitting way harder than some of the other ones, which kind of makes it hard to prepare for. Let me give you an example. If I'm doing like 300 corruption maps, I'm running around, something hits me, it hits me pretty hard, hits me for 60% of my life. Okay. I go, oh, I get hit for 80%. Okay. I get hit for 50%, yada, yada, yada. Bam. Then I get hit for like a 4,000 overkill hit. And I cannot be crit. I have crit immunity. So they didn't even crit me. And of course, I have capped resistances. This has happened to me on different attacks, I would say, I don't know, at least 15 different times. So I don't know why this is a phenomenon, but I think something to do with the balancing here has some skills, maybe some enemy attacks just scaling differently. And I've definitely noticed it way more this season. So maybe looking at some of like the outliers, or it honestly kind of felt, if you want to know what it reminded me of, it reminds me of the POE1 mercenaries. How, like in the gauntlet, for example, I killed 30 mercenaries, no problem. And then I opened that chaos mercenary and just killed me instantly. Boom, 5,000 BEMs, gone, erased. I deleted out of the gauntlet. It's kind of like that. So taking a look at some of those attacks would be good. One thing that I think I would love a solution for is to fix the architecture. If the game could somehow remember architecture of your stash tabs, because I make it nice and beautiful for the auto sorting feature that you built. So that's great. Thank you. But having to reconstruct it every single time is annoying. It would be so awesome if, like, at the start of the season, you could start off by paying like a lump sum of gold, whatever the value is, make up a number, 30,000 gold, 100,000 gold, whatever, where you start with like 10 stash tabs and it starts with your like default 10 tabs and your the different like folders and overlays for it. Boom. And you have the starter set up already there. That something like that would be beautiful. Or you get it as a reward for beating the campaign. Bam. You beat the campaign. Here are your 2 points, and bam, you've unlocked 15 stash tabs and your stash tab outline, or whatever you want to call it, format. Anything that you could implement to remember that so I don't have to rebuild it from scratch every time would be amazing. And another thing that I would absolutely love it is if you, when you're buying the stash tab, if you could copy a stash tab. So if I'm making exalts and I have gloves 1 for exalts and gloves 2, when my gloves 2 is full, I right click gloves 2, buy another, and it makes another one and just adds another number to the end, and I can edit the name or whatever. That is way better than me adding a new tab, setting it to exalt, picking gloves, this tier, this or that, recoloring it, put it in the exalt folder, and then drag it to its right spot. Listen, you want to know why I'm giving you these ideas, these like really granular ideas? Because you guys listen to us. It's like it's an honor that you guys listen to us. So thank you. So that's why I'm throwing out all these ideas. Some builds use set items with like the new idea that you had for it last season. I thought was great, where you like shatter the set and you bake it into the item. I just hardly ever see these being used. So maybe set items need to have a look at like their power level or their usefulness, because I don't see them really ever being used. I have never used a set item since your new mechanic, and I've made a lot of different builds. It's just, it never seems to be the right answer. One thing that is plaguing a lot of players are memory leaks. And I know you guys just had a patch fixing it, so I know you guys are aware. I don't think this is fixed. And people are crashing in particular when they open their stash tabs. And it doesn't seem to be like because there's a lot of items or there's a lot of tabs. I don't have that many items, but something seems to still be wrong here. I'm sure you're looking into it, but I want to call it out. It's a big problem. It's huge lag crashes the game. Here's an interesting question. I don't know if this has ever publicly been discussed. Maybe it has, but we had a big discussion on why do runes of shattering exist specifically? Specifically runes of shattering, not any of the other crafting things. The other things are good. But it seems like they used to be a gold sink for you, because earlier on in many patches ago, runes of shattering were pretty rare. So you'd buy them in order to shatter your stuff for your basic affixes. But now it's not a gold sink at all. I checked, and I have like 210 runes of shattering right now. I understand I play a lot, but I haven't bought like a single one since like the first hour of the game. So I don't think you can use a gold sink as it being an argument anymore. And this is just something that really other games don't do. In WoW, you can just disenchant. In Diablo 4, you can salvage at the blacksmith. In POE2, you can just salvage the stuff for the sockets. I really don't know why runes of shattering exist. It would be nice if we could just shatter stuff. What it would really help, the real benefit here would be in the beginning of the game. While leveling, it would help you leveling. Because if you could shatter every shitty item that you pick up, and you could do it quickly, that would give you a bank of affixes earlier. So that's like the main that's like the main like power change to the game, I guess you could say, if you implemented this. If you do implement this, I think it would be a brilliant idea to add a shatter all button. But if I put on my EHG hat for a second, I can understand how this might be a problem for you guys, because a shatter all button in the inventory, what happens to players when they get a really godly item and they forget and they shatter it? Well, of course, you could say tough luck, but we're not really trying to generate bad feelings, right? I think you could configure it. You could configure the shatter all button by tier. Like, for example, if you're just starting out, maybe you shatter any item that doesn't have a tier of anything above 3. And that's fine. But in the end game, you might shatter everything below 7. And that way, your button can never shatter something really godly. So, just something, just trying to start a conversation here. Why do I need why do I need to buy runes of shattering? I just actually collect them to shatter these items. We already have removal for specific targeted shattering for a higher magnitude. Why can't we just salvage these? I think it would be way better and not really change the game too much except for the good, unless I'm missing something. One universal piece of feedback that I get from people who get burnt out of Last Epoch, which it happens, is the end game could continue to use more spice. Now, you guys are constantly trying to add more things. So the woven echoes are there to like build your own monolith. And now you have the surprises of the exiled mages, or now the T-Rexes are there, and the nemesis and the champions, and then the tombs inside. There are things that are there. It's just none of them are really that rare, and none of them individually are like super exciting or dopamine inducing anymore. So one thing that we talked about for quite a while was the milestones in the game. So there are actually a couple of inflection points in Last Epoch that happen that a lot of times aren't really correlated with any kind of reward, or again, any kind of sense of accomplishment or achievement or anything like that. So for example, what are some achievements? Well, you could say the first achievement is when you unlock all your skill points and all your idle slots. Well, you could say the reward for that is just unlocking them all. And that's cool, but nothing happens when you finally reach that milestone. When you beat the campaign through Act 10, you get two to all stats. One of them from Act 9 and one of them from Act 10. That's something, but once again, when you beat Act 10, you know what happens? It ports you to the end of time. You're just standing there. It's like, okay, well, we could have made that moment a little bit more epic, right? We could have done something. Something that comes to mind is like Diablo 2. When you reach certain milestones, you get the potion that gives you 20 life, or you get the scroll that gives you 10 all resist, or something. Or, as we said earlier, you beat the campaign, you unlock your stash tab architecture. Get 15 tabs for beating it. God, that would make me happy. It could even be that. And I want to make it very clear. The point of this is not to add power creep to the game. In fact, if this thing would add power creep, you can feel free to rebalance it some other way, however you see fit. I just think there's a lot of points in the game where you could take a moment to reward the player or call out to the player, you've done something great here, and give them something. The next one is when you open up the empowered monoliths. Okay, you've opened them, you beat one of the monoliths at the end to go to the empowered version, and what happens? Nothing. You just go do empowered monoliths. When you hit 300 corruption and you beat that quest line, you can fight Uber Aberoth, but when you beat him, you get like nothing. You could say you get his loot that drops off of him. Cool. But he doesn't drop like an item like the first time you kill him that gives you plus 10 to your endurance threshold or something. It doesn't even have to be like a core mechanic. You could use your imagination. You guys are very creative. Anything. Something cool. It could be a cosmetic even. It doesn't even have to be power. Something cool. Same thing with Uber Aberoth. You get to 500 corruption and you can fight him. Nothing happens. You kill him and he has a very good loot table, but you beat him. Nothing happens. You know? I think I made my point. A lot of milestones in the game, almost always not correlated with anything. No reward, no event, no cosmetic. That's maybe a point that you could make better. Again, more surprises. The things that you have built into the game are not really surprises because they all happen pretty often. Where are the surprises? And then some real chase items. If I'm sitting here and if someone asks me, what am I really looking for in Last Epoch? Well, I'm looking for the same legendary that I've already found 10 times with higher LP than the one that I have. And that means that it has one other T5 stat on it. Okay, like that is a better item. Is that super exciting or dopamine inducing? Kind of, but kind of not. And you say, well, it's like red rings or omnis or stuff like that. Yes, a red ring is a great item. And that's the closest thing to something as a chase item or something from the Uber Aberoth drop pool, something like that. But how do those compare to like the other chase items, which I know you guys know about? I know the EHG players love POE. I know you guys blast it. How does that compare to Mage Blood or Headhunter or anything like that? It doesn't compare, right? It just doesn't. So adding some more chase items, I think would make the game more fun. It doesn't even have to be literally an item. It doesn't even have to be an item that you drop on the ground. It could be based on sigils. It could be based on blessings. Like you have a random chance to drop like a god blessing. That's just a higher tier, but it's rare and maybe you can't trade for it or whatever it is you want to do. Again, you guys are creative. You guys can come up with cool stuff, but some things that we're just out there day in and day out looking for, hoping to drop, that is just not a common occurrence, I think would go a long way to make the game more fun. There's probably a lot of other ways to spice up the end game, but here's some quote unquote low hanging fruit that I think would help. Arena and dungeons, besides the temporal sanctum, they're like very rarely used. Like I never have a reason to go do the arena other than I just like to do arena. The rewards aren't even good if you do it. And like you would do Lightless Arbor if you want the mountain set, which is very good. It's not even a set item, by the way. It's just a set of uniques. But the mountain gear is pretty good for Lightless Arbor. Some builds might go do that. Or like the fire stuff from Soulfire is like if you're doing Judgment Paladin, you might have to do Soulfire Bastion a little bit. But in general, just like set items, arenas and dungeons are just very underutilized, except the temporal sanctum. I mean, what can we do here and how can we make them more fun? I know this has been talked about a million times, but what is EHG's opinion on auto picking up shards and pets moving around to pick up gold? I mean, they keep adding more and more quality of life. And no, I don't want to turn this into an AFK mobile game where you just do nothing. But the big pile of shards drops, and then I see them, and then I click it, and it vacuums it and it puts it away. I would still like to see them. It's cool to see that, oh, they all dropped, but do I really have to go pick them up every time? They drop everywhere in the end game when you get into higher corruption. It saved me quite a few clicks. If it were up to me, I'd have you turn it on. It's not a make or break thing, but can we get this? Either of this? Is this a thing? Maybe? Cursor options. There aren't any. If you guys ever use YOLO mouse, can we get those options in Last Epoch or something? And then finally, I got to be completely honest with you. So I love the new things that you put in the loot filter. So I'm talking about me. This is a me thing, not an EHG thing. This is a me thing. I was very unhappy with the loot filter that I made this time. The loot filter was good, and it was better than any version of the loot filter that I made previously. But I want to sit down and I want to spend a ton of time and make the godliest filter that's ever been imaginable. And in order for me to do that, I need some more things. First of all, I need way more than 75 rules. My loot filter is capped, and I need way more. Is there a reason why there's a 75 limit? Can it be like 150 or 200, and then I can make the God filter? I would imagine most people don't use this many rules, which is fine, but can I have like 150 or 200 or something? I'm serious. Like, I really need this, please. And then one thing that I think would be amazing, damn it, I wish it wouldn't have logged me out. One thing that I think would be amazing is like delimiters, like titles or chapters or anything in the loot filter. And I want to show you what I mean here. So this could be a super awesome function. So in the loot filter, all of these rules from here down to here, so that's 43 rules worth. These are all configuring best in slot gear for the different classes. If I could group all of these under, like, if I could collapse them and put a title here and call it best in slot items, that would be amazing. It would also be amazing if I had the option underneath, like a separator, to put like a description where I could right now in the loot filter, I'm writing all of the explanations of the rules in the title, because I don't have a description here anywhere, either here or within the rule, to describe what is it doing. But if there was a description that we could use, I could very easily describe what exactly are we doing here. So with double or triple the rules, and with like collapsible sections, and with descriptions in here, the loot filter could go like ultra instant. You guys already have the best loot filter, and you don't have to listen to me, but you guys have pretty much added everything we've ever asked for so far. Like, so it's amazing. So is this something that we could get? I mean, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Here's another thing. I asked my chat. It's not just me, and I got tons of yeses, a machine gun of yeses. So it's not just me. But one weird thing for me about the sounds is I almost never hear them. And look, my volume is on, well, I turned it to 0 for this video, but my master volume when I play is at 100, and my ting sound is also at 100. And when I'm listening to music and I'm playing and I'm listening to the ambient sounds of Last Epoch, I hear the sound. It's there, boom, but it's like it's not like a defining sound whatsoever. So I wish that you would take ting out and make it its own volume. And I wish the max volume of the ting was higher, like the possible loudest sound of it. Then another cool thing you could add is custom sounds. So, right, you gave us this nice little bank. These are pretty cool sounds. I mean, it's fine. But it'd be funny if we could record custom sounds that it would pull. That would be amazing as well. Another idea. Again, I can't say this enough times. I'm going to say it one more time. The reason why I'm suggesting such granular, specific things is because EHG listens, and they've made a lot of the quality of life of this game very high. And so I'm very motivated to share any thoughts that I have with a company that wants to listen. Like I don't have all the good ideas. You don't have to just listen to me and my community, but I think a lot of these would go a long way here. Anyway, my overall opinion here of season 3. Do I think this season is better than season 2? No, but season 2 they had a year to make it, and they had 4 months to make this one. So, I never expected this season to be better. So I'm totally okay with it. I think almost everything that you did, I'll leave myself some room for, other than I guess other than the memory leaks and me, I'm just getting one shot, boom, just one shot it out of nowhere more this season than the other ones. I think it's just improving, and I think it's on the right path. So I don't know. That's my opinion on this. What did you guys think about it? I'm going to keep playing this for a couple more days before we start theory crafting all the builds for POE2. There's 2 main things I'm going to focus on. There's 3 things I'm interested for POE2. I'm interested in Sorcerer and the new infusions. Is that what they're called? Infusions that that add different elements or extra stuff to the spells. I absolutely want to do that. And I want to do Monk, and I want to look at the Acolyte of Chalupa and see if we can somehow do like a Chaos Ice Strike Monk or an unarmed Ice Strike Monk, something like that. Or maybe we do something other than Ice Strike. I have a feeling almost everyone's going to go Lightning Arrow, Deadeye, something like that. And they're going to be like, they're probably going to murder everything. But we've already done that multiple times. So I want to do something different. You know what I mean? So I will stay away from Lightning Arrow, Deadeye, but I'll try to have a couple starters that I think will be really good. And we'll be blasting that next week. Anyway, this video is not about PoE. It's about Last Epoch. EHG, I like what you're doing, man. The game is better in my opinion, and I'm still having fun playing Season 3. We're going to blast some more. Thank you.